So in some sense, this is a question of why Facebook got so big. And I think it really is because people like to talk and they like to share. And I think photos is a really great example of this. So people have always wanted to share photos, and for a while you could only share them by showing somebody a physical photo. And then you could email them to people or post them online, and people could go view your albums and things like that. But what Facebook does is it allows you to have conversations around those photos almost in real time as they're being uploaded, in some cases even as they're being taken, with mobile devices. And so I think one of the things that has made Facebook so popular is that it's a way of connecting people and bringing them together around the events of their everyday life that would have been delayed in some sense. If you go on vacation in Hawaii and you see a beautiful sunset and you take a picture of it, you'd have to come back and get that picture developed and then show it to your friends. But now you can just upload it via your mobile, and they're talking about how jealous they are that you're in Hawaii right now, right? It makes you feel good that you managed to get there. So for close connections, I think it's there's this theory about network multiplexity, essentially, which is that people are using different forms of media to communicate with their closest ties. So what some of the research shows is that the people you're best friends with, you talk to on the phone, you talk to via Facebook, you talk to in face-to-face conversations. There are a lot of different ways that you communicate. So I don't know if Facebook has necessarily changed the communication patterns between people, but I think it has changed kind of the ways that they share information, that there are certain things that are more efficient and more effective on Facebook. I think it's more likely to affect kind of your cousins and things like that. So family connections or friendship connections that you might have found it more difficult to maintain. You're kind of exchanging a couple of emails at Christmas or something. Now you can actually keep up with them throughout the year, and you have a kind of a closer connection with sort of the extended branches of your family or friends than you would have. So honestly, I don't know. The research literature on this has been kind of divided. Some people claim, for example, that the telephone essentially did not change communication patterns. People did what they were already doing. They just started using the telephone to do it. And if you believe that line of reasoning, then I think the answer is that we won't change very much, because Facebook is simply a more efficient medium for communication. But at the same time, I think Facebook allows you to do a certain amount of broadcasting that really isn't possible with a device like the telephone, where you can now do this kind of a locally broadcast information where you have your friends, the people that you want to communicate with, and you can kind of communicate with all of them or some subset of them at once in a pretty efficient way. So I think it might change the amount of information that we know about each other for sure, and I think it might change the ways in which we disseminate that information, but it's not clear if it will fundamentally change the way that we communicate with one another.